The launch of the 2016 National Christmas and Nine Mornings Festival was held yesterday, Sunday, December 11th, in capital city Kingstown. Michael Peters, Cultural Officer within the Ministry of Culture, who encouraged Vincentians and visitors to participate in our various activities of the festival, stated that one of the things that they want to do this year, especially in terms of Kingstown program, is to give opportunity to young and new talents. He said he wants to expose new faces this year, and added that Nine Mornings has always been about participation. Mr. Peters, who gave the assurance that each individual will be welcomed to perform during the event, said more emphasis will be placed on ensuring the full participation of various communities. The National Nine Mornings celebrations was launched in Kingstown. The launch, which is taking place at Heritage Square, was preceded by a march around Kingstown by members of the community groups, which will be taking part in Nine Morning activities across the country. Present at the launch was lawyer Israel Bruce, president of the New Democratic Party, NDP, Young Democratic's Nick Francis, opposition senator lawyer Sherlyn Zita Barnwell, leader of the opposition, NDP, Dr. Godwin Friday, and the NDP Central Leeward candidate, Ben Exeter. Also present was Minister of Sports and Culture, Honorable Cecil Mackey, who delivered his address before the crowd. Various organizations and churches were also present. The New Testament Church of God, Bel Air, worship team did some worship at the launch of the National Nine Morning celebrations on December 11, 2016 at Heritage Square in Kingstown, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The 2016 National Nine Mornings Festival is being held under the theme Celebrating a Unique Vincentian Tradition. The Ministry of Health, Wellness and Environment has recommenced the delivery of mental health services at the original site at Villa, following the reopening of the Mental Health Rehabilitation Center on Tuesday, December 6, 2016. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Louis Deschamps, said in a release that the residents of the facility traveled from Orange Hill back to Villa on December 7, 2016, with no reported incidents in routine. The ministry also thanks the Commissioner of Police and other officers of the Royal St. Vincent's and the Grenadines Police Force, the Permanent Secretary and staff of Ministry of Transport Works, and the bus owners and operators who all facilitated the transfer of the residents from Orange Hill to Villa. The Health Ministry says it is also grateful to the entire staff of the Mental Health Rehabilitation Center for their profound patience and understanding during the renovation of the main facility. The renovation of the Mental Health Rehabilitation Center, at a cost of just over 4 million EC dollars, was done under the 10th European Development Fund, EDF, modernization of the health sector project. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves says the government spent a significant amount of money to the provision of healthcare services in St. Vincent's and the Grenadines. During the keynote address on Tuesday at the reopening of the Mental Health Rehabilitation Center at Glen, the Prime Minister said the government spends a higher value of the gross domestic product, GDP, than the average for developing countries across the world. Prime Minister Dr. Gonsalves said that we must acknowledge that our numbers stand up better than the average in CARICOM. The Prime Minister said the government allocates in excess of 9% of the capital and recurrent budget to health, and added that this year the government has budgeted to spend $66.7 million on health in respect to the recurrent spending of $22.8 million for capital expenditure, giving a total of $89.5 million. Dr. Gonsalves said the total overall budgeted expenditure for this year is $912.9 million. Other addresses at the ceremony came from Minister of Health Luke Brown, Parliamentary Representative for East St. George, Camilla Gonsalves, and Senior Nursing Officer for Mental Health, Sister Diana Bailey. Despite budgeting close to 117,000 EC dollars a year and offering other perks, the government has been unable to attract a psychiatrist to spearhead the mental health operations here. The seriousness of not having a trained psychiatrist here came to the forefront between November 13th and the 14th, when it was alleged that a mentally unstable Giovanni Baptiste of Old Sandy Bay killed 4 persons. Speaking during the opening of the refurbished Mental Health Center in Glen on Tuesday, Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves said this country has been without a psychiatrist since 2014, but that is expected to change as a Barbadian is showing some interest in the job on part-time basis. In relation to the murders that were allegedly committed by Baptiste, the PM has ordered a full investigation into the mental health system, as Baptiste's mother had told journalists that the system had failed her son. Approximately 5,000 persons are currently employed for the annual Christmas road cleaning program being carried out by the Buildings, Roads and General Services Authority, BRAGSA. The program, which is being carried out in communities across the country, got underway on Tuesday and will run for a period of 2 weeks. BRAGSA's Communication Officer, Roxanne Millington, says the exercise will focus particularly on clearing of the drains in the wake of the flooding which occurred during the trough that affected the country last week. She says this program is off to a late start due to the restoration works being carried out on both the leeward and windward sides of the island. Ms. Millington says landslides are still being cleared on the leeward side, while on the windward end, the team is working on temporarily bypass roads so persons can commute right up to Fancy. On Sunday, 11th December, Images visited the Sandy Bay Government School, which is currently an emergency center since the recent flooding in the area. Shelter manager Owen Baptiste showed much appreciation for their donation and is appealing for more help with certain items that are really needed.
My name is Owen Baptiste. I'm on the coordinator here at the Sandy Bay Emergency Shelter. On the day of the disaster, we received 198 persons in house, and as time goes by, persons went back home cleaning and support. We have 8 persons who lost everything, and also minor damages to other houses and properties in terms of businesses. One of the things we are really appealing for is children campers, adult pampers, and also sanitary pads, including water and food supply. We have been thankful to everyone who have been communicating to us and coming on board with us, and we just want to give thanks and praise to everyone who have made it possible in terms of helping our community. Most persons now are back home cleaning up, and some are being different places, and sometimes you leave your home and walking about and seeing where you have been living before, and then you have not seen anything like that in your lifetime, and these are some of the persons go through. So we have daily counselors going to their homes and counseling them. We have persons reaching out to them personally, and we wanted to say on behalf of the management here at the Sunday Emergency Shelter to really come on board to say thanks to everyone making it possible. So once again, we just want to thank you on behalf of the Garifuna community.
Local police are reminding persons to take the necessary precautions to protect their properties from criminal elements as the Christmas season approaches. The advice came from Inspector Henson Valentine, head of the Criminal Investigation Department, CID, of the local police force during the Police on the Beat program aired on NBC Radio on Monday night. Inspector Valentine said it is imperative that persons put measures into place to deter criminals from invading their properties. He said some of the measures are by lightning surveillance cameras and even common dogs. Inspector Valentine is also urging homeowners to investigate in burglary proofing their properties to ensure a greater level of security. More local news up next.